निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Sunday Feast program. So we'll be reading from Canto 5, Chapter 18, Shloka number 27. Bhagavatam. Chapter Canto 5, Chapter 18. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायण नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके।
Canto 5, Chapter 18. Slok number 27. 5, 18, 27. यम लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेते च पातुं न सेकुर्द्विपादश्चतुष्पदा सरीसृपस्तानु यतत्र दृश्यते यं लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेते च पातुं न सेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पदा सरीसृपं स्थानु यतत्र दृश्यते यं लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेते च पातुं न सेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पदा सरीसृपं स्थानु यतत्र दृश्यते।
यम लोकपाल किल मत्सरज्वरा
यं लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा
हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेत्य च पातुं न सेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पद सरीसृपं स्थानु यतत्र दृश्यते
यम लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेत्य च
हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेते च
पातुं न सेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पदा
पातुं न सेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पदा
सरीसृपं स्थानु यदत्र दृश्यते
सरीसृपं स्थानु यतत्र दृश्यते। Any problems or move to Matas?
यं लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा
यं लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेत्य च पातुं न सेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पदा सरीसृपं स्थानु यतत्र दृश्यते
यं लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा
यं लोकपाला किल मत्सरज्वरा
हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेत्य च
हित्वा यतन्तोऽपि पृथक् समेत्य च
पातुं न सेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पदा चतुष्पदा
पातुं न शेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पदा
सरीसृपं स्थाणु यदत्र दृश्यते
सरीसृपं स्थाणु यदत्र दृश्यते यं लोकपालाखिलमत्सरज्वरा हित्वाय तन्तोऽपि पृथक् समीत्य च पातुं न शेकुर्द्विपदश्चतुष्पदा सरीसृपं स्थाणु यदत्र दृश्यते
Yam, whom you, Lokapala, the great leaders of the universe, beginning with Lord Brahma, Killer, what to speak of others, Maschara Jwara, who are suffering from the fever of envy, Hitva, living aside, Yatanta, endeavoring, Api, although, Pruthak, separately, Sammitya, combined, Cha, also, Patum, to protect, Na, not, Sheku, able, Dvipadaha, two-legged, Chatushpada, four-legged, Sarishrupam, reptiles, Stanu, not moving, It, whatever, Atra, within this material world, Drushyate, is visible. So, without looking the translation, can you try what is the meaning of this shloka?
अब प्रभु जी ये बताना चाह रहे हैं कि इनवी जो है ना यहाँ तक छोड़ो ब्रह्मा जी तक में वो
That is one point. Matsara Jwara, the fever of enviousness. And
suffering is there for all the living.
okay.
Whether it's two and four and everywhere it is safe.
Okay. And he is also the source of everything. Whether it's Dvipadas, Chatushpadas or Sarisrupa, he is the source of everything. Very good. Nice. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My Lord. Okay, we will repeat only translation. My Lord, from the great leaders of the universe, such as Lord Brahma, and other demigods, down to the political leader of this world, all are envious of your authority. Without your help, however, they could neither separately nor concertedly maintain the innumerable living entities within this universe. You are actually the only maintainer of all living beings, of animals like cows and asses, and of plants, reptiles, birds, mountains, and whatever else is visible within this material world. Yet atra drushyate, yet whatever atra within this material world. So whatever we are able to see, Krishna is the source of everything. Purport. It is fashionable for materialistic person to compete with the power of God. When so-called scientists try to manufacture living entities in their laboratories, their only purpose is to defy the talent and the abilities of the Supreme Personality Godhead. This is called illusion. It exists even in the higher planetary systems, where great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others resides. In this world, everyone is puffed up with the false prestige, despite the failure of all his endeavor. When so-called philanthropists who supposedly want to help the poor are approached by members of Krishna conscious movement, they say, you are simply wasting your time. While I am feeding vast masses of the starving people, unfortunately, their meager efforts, either singly or together, do not solve anyone's problem. Sometimes so-called swamis are very eager to feed poor people, thinking them to be Daridra Narayan, the Lord's incarnation as beggar. We do not know where is this Lord Daridra Narayan. They prefer to serve the manufactured Daridra Narayan than the original Supreme Narayan. They say, don't encourage service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. It's better to serve starving people of the world. Do you correlate with this statement?
Yes.
What is the other statement they say?
Manav Sevai, Manav Sevai.
Yes, Manav Seva, and Prabhupada is thoroughly defeating that. Unfortunately, such a materialistic either singly or combined in the form of United Nations cannot fulfill their plans. The truth is that many millions of human beings, animals, birds, trees, and indeed all living entities are maintained solely by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada is saying that they can try anything, but the reality, the truth, it's like Prabhupada is defeating the statement and said the truth is that Krishna is the maintainer of all the living entities, and he gives the names trees, plants, four-legged, two-legged, and everything. And Prabhupada is not just telling in without any reference, and he's giving the Katha Upanishad shloka. Eko bahunam yo vidhati kaman. One person, the Supreme Lord, Nitya Nityanas Chetanam. Among all the Nityas, he is the best one or is the top one. Among all the consciousness, he is the consciousness. And Eko bahunam yo vidhati kaman. He is maintaining all other. And who is that? Who is that? Krishna. One person, the Supreme Lord, is supplying the necessities of life for all other living entities. To challenge the authority of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the business of Asuras. The business of Asuras is to challenge the authority of Lord Krishna. Yet, sometimes Suras or devotees are also bewildered by the illusory energy and falsely claim to be the maintainer of the entire universe. Such incidents are described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sukadeva Goswami tells how Lord Brahma and King Indra became puffed up and were eventually chastised by Lord Sri Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamahyam Dadati Svapadaantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Vaishnavancharam Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sagana Lalitam Sri Vishakam Nitancham. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpataruvesha Rupa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhashatadeshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome to our Sunday feast. We are reading from Canto 5, chapter 18, shloka number 27, the Canto 5th, titled as the Creative Impetus, and the chapter 18 is titled as the Residence of Jambudvipa Offers Prayer. And we are in the shloka number 27. So we'll have to go back a little bit in March, where we discussed about the horizontal structure of this universe. Now, little bit refresh. So I was also not able to remember. So I refreshed myself yesterday. Now let us the test of audience here. So now where is this Jambu Dvipa?
South.
South. Okay. No, but how this Jambu Dvipa? No, what? Okay. So the Bhumandala. How did this Dvipas created?
By the
Prithu Maharaj, brother of who is the father of Dhruva Maharaj? His elder brother. It starts with P. Priyavrata. So Priyavrata Maharaj. So Priyavrata Maharaj. So he started going around the Bhumandala, and because of his chariot created trough, T-R-O-U-G-H, that means channel or gutter kind of things, and it also, when you have some low, then it also creates some peak. So that created oceans, and because there are 7 oceans, it created how many Dvipas? 7. And anybody remembers what are the different oceans that created? I know one you will surely tell. Huh? Sugarcane juice, very good. Milk ocean, okay. Huh? Salt. Somebody said something. Huh? Girija Bhushan Prabhu ki jai.
I don't drink.
And then salt, and so there is a Dvipa, there is an ocean, there is a Dvipa, there is an ocean, and it is a circular, right? It is a circular. So the core of, so each of these Dvipa, each of the mount or non-ocean region is called as Dvipa, which is surrounded by ocean, and there are 7 Dvipas, and in just name of any of the Dvipas. Jambu Dvipa, very good. Very simple and easy. So there are different Dvipas, and one of the Dvipas were related to our the story of Lord Krishna lives Giridhar, right? Govardhan. So Govardhan, that sage goes to the Shalmali Dvipa, right? Shalmali Dvipa. So there are different Dvipas. Anybody remembers other Dvipas? Pushkara Dvipa, Shaka Dvipa, and very good, Prabhu. Remembering the notes. So that means it's good that we should take a note so that at least you can go back and refer that. And Jambu Dvipa is divided into how many varshas? 9 varshas. And so now this chapter 16. Okay, so now why did Sukadeva Goswami started discussing about that? In the 15th chapter, somewhere 7th or 8th shloka, Sukadeva Goswami just passing comments, use that there is and it is divided into Dvipas. Then Parikshit Maharaj says, wait. Please tell me in details who has created this Dvipa, how this Dvipa has been created, and who is the ruler of that. And then in the 17th chapter, Sukadeva Goswami talks about this. Priyavrata Maharaj goes around that. And by the way, it is not that every one time he created all this. Every time he goes around the Bhumandala, one trough is created. Next time he goes around, second trough is created. The third, so like this, there are the 7 oceans are created. And then, if you take the core of that, the central, which is the smallest size, is called as Santashvaru. Which Dvipa? Jambu Dvipa. And Jambu Dvipa is divided into how many varshas? 9 varshas. And just scratching our head, anybody remembers any of these varshas? Very good. Bharatvarsha is the simplest that we cannot. Kim Purusha. Because who stays in Kim Purusha? Hanumanji, and he prays to? Hanumanji will always pray to Prabhu Ramchandraji. So, in each Dvipas, there are Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the residents is actually praying that. So, if you see the 18th chapter, which actually, okay, so there is a Hari Varsha, there is a Kim Purusha, there is a Bharat Varsha, the Ketumala, then Bhadrashva, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, and Uttara Kuru. So these are the Uttar means is directly north of that, and Bharatvarsha is to the south of that, and the middle of the Jambudvipa. So Jambudvipa itself is a core, and the middle of the Jambudvipa there is something called very tall Sumeru Parat, and it is full of gold. And that middle Varsha is called as Ilavrata Varsha. So this is the 18th chapter. Before 18th chapter, which chapter comes? 17. Right? Simple. So in the 17th chapter, the prayers from the residents of each of these Varsha begins, and the Ilavrat Varsha begins in the 17th chapter. So in the 18th chapter, Shloka number 1 to 6, it is from Bhadrasrava Varsha. Bhadrasrava Varsha is the east. Maybe quickly I will show that. Then I will close this. Start TV. And in 18th chapter, Shloka number 1 to 6, Bhadrasrava Varsha, who is the son of Dharmaraj, Bhadrasrava, who is praying. Okay. Thank you. It's okay. That's fine. So the middle is the Ilavrat Varsha. East of that is Bhadrasrava. The south is Harivarsha, Kimpurusha, and down south is Bharatvarsha. To the west, Ketumala. To the north is Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, and topmost is a Uttarakuru. The topmost is a Uttarakuru. So now 17th chapter begins with the prayers from the which Varsha? The middle, Ilavrat. And then 1 to 6 is Bhadrasrava. Then 7 to 14 is Harivarsha, Shloka number 7 to 14, chapter number 18. And the Shloka number 15 to 23 is a Ketumala Varsha. And Shloka number 24 to 28 is Ramyaka Varsha. Prayers to Matsya, which is the incarnation of Lord, by Vaivasvata Manu. So now we are in Shloka number 27. So now which Varsha is praying, and in which Varsha we are talking, and who is the residents, and who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead there? Ramyaka Varsha. Who is praying? Vaivasvata Manu. Matsya. So this is the background of these particular things. So before 27, so in 26 Shloka, Vaivasvata Manu is actually glorifying Krishna, that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the question may come, what about Indra? What about Brahma? They are also independent controller, right? Then today's Shloka he is talking about that, oh my Lord, you are not only the controller, but you are the maintenance of all these things. Which are those? Trees, plants, Chatushpada, Dvipada, Sarishrupa. He is the source of everything. Not only that he is the source of everything, but there are some people, Lokapala, Matchara Jwara. What is the Lokapala? The controller of the great leaders of this universe, beginning from Lord Brahma. And Srila Prabhupada extrapolate that, saying that not only Lord Brahma, Lord Shivji, all the political leaders of this universe, they are Matchara Jwara. They are envious of Lord Sri Krishna. So when we say envious of Lord Krishna, so what they do? When you are envious of Lord Sri Krishna, what do they do?
They try to challenge.
They try to challenge Lord Krishna. They try to challenge the authority of Lord Sri Krishna. Second thing,
They try to defeat
Lord,
Brahmas.
they want to become the Lord.
sorry,
They want to become the Lord of.
they want to become Lord. Very good.
They consider that they themselves can maintain the living entity.
Exactly. I am the maintainer of all those things. Krishna, probably you would have created, but you forgot now. These people are suffering. It is me who is actually maintaining all these living entities. I don't need any of you are there. Very good. Anything else?
And they manufacture Daridra Narayan.
And they manufacture Daridra Narayan. We'll come to this point at the end, Daridra Narayan. So Srila Prabhupada, Krishna smashes the pride of everyone. He doesn't like if in his devotees or living entities has a small tinge of pride. He will thoroughly crush the pride of living entities. So Srila Prabhupada writes here in the purport that materialistic persons compete with the power of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who said, the scientist, Srila Prabhupada is covering all kinds of living entities or characteristics or types of the people who challenge. First is the materialistic people, he says that, who compete with the power of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next, Srila Prabhupada says that the scientists and their only purpose is to defy the talent and the ability of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this is called as illusion. Prabhupada says this is called illusion. And in this world, everyone is puffed up with the false prestige. And Krishna smashed the pride of Indradev, Krishna smashed the pride of Brahmadev, and there are many incidences that Krishna actually smashed the pride of that. Now, why does a living entity get a pride? Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 shloka number 27. That is 7.27. 13.26. 3.27. व्रज प्रेम माता जी प्रकृति क्रियमाणानि गुणाहि कर्म अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा कर्ता हम इति मन्यते. So what does the living entity think? Karta ham, I am the doer of everything. But why does he think that? Yeah, but actually all the activities are being executed. Prabhupada translates, all the activities are being executed by the three modes of material nature, but the spirit soul is bewildered by influence of the false ego, thinks himself to be the karta ham iti manyate, I am the doer of everything. And this is what is that. So what makes us proud? Because karta ham iti manyate, because of our foolishness, because of bewilderment created by the three modes of material nature, we think that we are actually the doer. And as soon as we think we are the doer, we become a pride. Then the one may ask the question, now the Advaita Prabhu has the answer for that. Then one may ask the question, why the person gets bewildered first of all? Why he does get bewildered first of all? 7.27. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sargeyanti parantapa. So Lord Krishna says there are two things which actually makes us pride. And what is that? Ichha and dvesha. Ichha means desire and dvesha means enviousness. So here the one word is used parallel to dvesha. What is that? Matsara jwara. So they are Matsara jwara. And the first thing that actually starts living entities is Ichha. And what is the Ichha? That why only Krishna? Why not me? Right? When somebody talks about Lord Sri Krishna's pastime, one of the pastime the living entity, they find very difficult to digest. That the pastimes in 10th canto, which is the Ras Leela. If Krishna can do, that is okay. We have no problem Krishna is doing. But why? Why not me? I should also be doing that. And that is Ichha, that Ichha Dvesha. So the first thing in Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami says that the living entity has turned his face away from Krishna. And that is the root cause of all the problems. So when he turned away from Krishna, then he forgets Krishna. Then he wanted to be Ichha Dvesha. Why only Krishna? Why not me? Then material world says that, okay, Lord says that, okay, you are not fit to be where you should be. Material world. And then go and he says, all the best. My all best wishes is with you. Try to enjoy as much as possible. And then Moga Asha, Moga Karmani, and the living entity try to enjoy in this material world. All this Moga Asha, Moga Karmani, Moga Jnana, all his Asha. Asha means hope. Moga Karmani, all his activities and all his things are baffled. He is completely defeated thoroughly. And then he says that, oh my Lord, now what is the shelter? Then he comes to the Bhakti center and said, oh Krishna, Sarva Dharman Sarva Pariteja Maham Ekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Shirvimas. Oh Lord, you are the only my shelter. But one has to go through all these difficulties and challenges. Then only one can actually come. That it is said that in English one can learn through by his mistakes. Once you go through that, then you will never learn otherwise. So there is a story of a king, and the king got a question one day. Sometimes king gets some very crazy questions. One day he got a question, what is the daily duty of God? Okay, now this king got the question. So Navendra Prabhu, what is the answer? What is the daily duty of God? Okay, Paritranaya Sadhana. Okay. What is the daily duty of God? This is the question the king got. Huh? He has no duties. Okay, he has no duties. So then when king does not get the answer, who does he actually go to? Ministers. He asked minister, please tell me what is the daily duty of God. And minister said that creation. King got shocked. He said, he's already created. There is no creation, is already done. It's not daily duty of that. Now you have to answer the things. And then what did king threaten him? If you do not answer, I will kill you. Very simple. That I will kill you. Then the minister bailed himself. He said, please give me 2 days. I will find the answer of your question. And now in the next 2 days, he did not have uta, he did not have nidra, nothing. That he was fully anxious because Parikshit Maharaj got 7 days. This gentleman got only 2 days. Now he is full anxiety. What to do now? So he was scratching head, going here and there, 60 feet main road and everywhere. He was not finding the answer. Then he went outside of this city, and there was a village. And in that village there was a farmer, and that farmer's son, small like maybe or Balramji, small boy, he was there. And then he asked, मिनिस्टर जी आप थोड़े से दुख में हो, आपका क्या प्रॉब्लम है? इसे अरे बेटा आप क्या सॉल्व करेंगे? मैं मिनिस्टर हूँ, आई कैन नॉट सॉल्व, व्हाट यू कैन सॉल्व? ही सेड एटलीस्ट टेल मी दैट आई विल सॉल्व योर प्रॉब्लम. एंड ही सेड ओके, एनीवे my end is about to come. At least if this small boy helps, probably there is some solution from him. And then he goes to Balaram and he asks, okay, so this is the question. So he said, what is the question? King asked me the question. What is the question King asked him? What is the daily duty of God? And the Balaram said, oh, this is a very simple question. Huh? It is so simple. Yes, it is very simple. Then minister said, please tell me answer. He said, no. To whom you want to answer this question? He said, to the king. Okay, I will come to your kingdom, he will go to your assembly, and then I will answer. Let's go. So now this minister, very confident, and he brings that little Balramji there. And okay, now king says, okay, oh minister ji, are ready with your answers? Minister says, yes. Now what is your answer? He said, no, this little boy is going to, Balaram is going to answer the question. And then king asked, oh Balaram, please tell me the answer. Then Balaram said that you have to first get down from your throne, come, because the throne is like, you see that movie, that Vikramaditya, 4-5 steps, and then the king is sitting there and all the other people sitting. He said, first you have to come down and then I will answer. Then king has to get the answer, so he comes down, and Balaram is very smart. He runs and he sits on the throne. Now he said, what is your question? Please tell me, because knowledge flows from top to bottom. Now I will tell you, so what is the question? And he said, what is the daily duty of God? He said, the daily duty of God is this, to crush the pride of people like you. And then Balaram became famous in the kingdom, and the king gave something. That was not the part of the story. I don't know what happened to Balaram. He would have given some what is called a bag or some books or some gold, some gold or something like that. So the religion of the God is to uplift the people and crush the pride of that. And we have so many stories where actually Lord crushes the the pride of those people. So now there are so many famous personalities who actually had such pride, the contemporary world, and there are many people who used to have the word, even God cannot budge us from our fame. Have you heard that? Even the God cannot budge us from the fame. So there was one president a former president of Brazil. His name is Tancredo de Almeida Neves. Tancredo de Almeida Neves. Please write down another quiz on his name. The spelling is also very difficult. Tancredo, Tancredo Neves. He was the former president of Brazil, and before election of, if I get the 5 lakh votes, 500,000 votes, cannot budge me from the position of the president. Who cannot budge? God cannot budge from me the position of the president. And he got some votes. He got elected, president-elect. You know president-elect, Prabhu? Satyajit Prabhu? What is the president-elect?
The one who is going to become a president.
He's officially he's done, but technically he's still not there. So he was a president-elect, and he was about to take oath, for example, tomorrow, and the previous day he got something and he got died. He could not, even the God, if I get how many votes? Even the God cannot judge me from the fame of mine. And before even he became president, he remained the president-elect, and then he lost all those things. And there was one singer called as Cazuza. He's the where is he from? He was from the Spanish. And so before the concert, lakhs and lakhs of people would come, and he had a very bad habit of smoking. So before the concert, he will actually smoke, and he will look toward the God. God, this smoke is for you, and even the God cannot take away from that. God cannot budge me from my fame. And very few days later, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he was gone. And then there is the person who designed the ship, Titanic, and the person, what he said that even the God cannot sing this Titanic. And you know that the even the first maiden voyage, it was actually sunk. And why? Because it was hit by only the tip of the iceberg, and the whole Titanic was sink. And then where is that? Even the God cannot sing. Everything goes crushed, smashed the pride of this. So this is the all contemporary people. Let's see some examples. Kunti Maharani prays 1.8.25. She says that Vipada santuta swasat tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yat sat padam apunar bhava darshanam. You know the translation? I think maybe you can rephrase the translation. Anybody knows the translation?
कि ये विपदा हमेशा आते रहे
Vipada, very good, Ravi Prabhu. क्यों आए this विपदा? विपदा संतुता शाश्वत means again तत्र जगत गुरु भवतो दर्शनम यत शाद पुनर्भवम अपुनर्भवम दर्शनम means see अपुनर्भवम again and again. So if you get this vipada,
तो हमेशा बार-बार याद करते रहेंगे.
किनको याद करेंगे?
सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी.
और उससे क्या नहीं होगा?
उससे हमको सोल्व करने का मतलब कि भगवान से जुड़ने का मौका मिलेगा.
Your remembrance means apunarbhavam, no more birth in this material world. Apunarbhavam darshanam. So by remembering you always, oh my Lord, give me difficulties one after the other, and because that difficulties, when there are difficulties, what happened? We remember Krishna, and remembering Krishna means no more birth in this material world. So it was in Vrindavan temple. One devotee got inspired by these things. Oh Lord, then he went to our deities in Krishna Balramji. Oh Krishna Balramji, please give me difficulties. And he got a very severe fever. And next day he came running. Oh Lord, please, I don't want that. So I mean, this is for the elevated personalities. We may not be able to, but the principle is important that by remembering that, we will not have. So what were the difficulties? Kunti Maharani was actually saying that Vipada. What are those Vipadas that Kunti Maharani is actually remembering? What are the Vipadas?
His sons got the Banvas. Second, Lakshagra,
where they were, and the forest fire, and the Bhima was administered poisoning, drowning him. All those difficulties, he is actually saying that we have gone through all these difficulties. Oh my Lord, you have saved, but it's because of Vipada we are able to remember you, and remembering means no more birth in this material world. But Kunti Maharani does not stop there. She said that these miseries are okay, but there are many more dangerous miseries. And she says in the next shloka, which is 1.8.26, and those difficulties are even much dangerous, more challenging. And what are those difficulties? Janma Aishwarya Sutasrihi Viredha Amana Padam Puman. Janma Aishwarya Sutasrihi Ye Dhaman Madaha Puman. Madaha means Ghaman, madness, Puman. And what are the four things Kunti Maharani says? Janma, Aishwarya, Sruta, and Sri. What is Janma? Birth. So that means those who have born into the higher birth or higher family, that is Janma. Then Aishwarya. Aishwarya means opulence. Next is Sruta. Sruta means education. And next is Sri means beauty here. So these are the real obstacles. Who is saying? Kunti Maharani is saying that not that administering poison is a challenge, burning the house is a challenge, drowning is a fire, but oh my Lord, these are the four difficult challenges. And because of this, what happens? When we have all these four things, high birth, lot of opulence, lot of knowledge, and lot of the great beauty, then one cannot surrender because one get pride. And once get pride, then coming to the previous shloka, then we cannot, because what we are discussing that, what are we discussing? What is how Lord crushed the pride, right? So now why the pride comes, that is the four things that Kunti Maharani says that. What are the four things which actually comes as a pride, source of pride? Janma, Aishwarya, Sruta, and Sri. These are the four things, and unfortunately, if we open our heart, yesterday we were discussing, if we open our heart, we will not see Prabhu Ramchandraji or Sita Mata, but we will see desire for any of the things. And typically, Janma probably we may not, because that is not in our hand now. We have already taken a Janma. Probably next is, what is after Janma? Given a choice. How many of you would like to be born of Sachin Tendulkar's, Bachchans, or Ambani's, or many other, right? Given choice, but that is not in our hand. So probably we may not ask that, or we may not aspire for that, right? But one may aspire for the next. What is that? Aishwarya. Then Sruta, higher knowledge, and then beauty. But all of these are challenged. One by one, we'll see that four opulence create pride in our heart, and when we have that pride, which does not allow to take a shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the whole purpose we are discussing here, these four things become the obstacles, greater obstacles, Maha obstacles. Now, do you remember any stories? Now we are taking from incidents one by one. Now where, because of the high birth, there were challenges. Lord Buddha, what was that, Mataji?
Lord Buddha, he was the son of king, so he couldn't see the
Suffering of that. Okay, so he couldn't see the suffering. Okay, any other stories? Duryodhana, it's more opulence, birth also can be said. Yeah. So this is Nal Kuvera Mani Griva, more can come into the second category. You answer the second category answer. Okay, we will not ask the second category. So two stories or three stories, many stories, but at least two stories that I come to my mind is Ramanujacharya and his wife. So Ramanujacharya, the great Acharya in Sri Sampradaya, that his wife is actually comes from the very high, because in Brahmanas also there are different categories, and so she comes from the topmost. And when Ramanujacharya was in Kanchipuram, and there was one devotee called as Kanchipurna, who was such a wonderful and exalted devotee that he would directly talk to the Varadraj. And one day he was actually having prasadam, and his prasadam, the remnants were actually taken by a dog. And Ramanujacharya felt that, oh, how fortunate is that dog. May I get this opportunity. And he developed a desire to have the remnants of the great devotee like Kanchipurna. And then he invited Kanchipurna to his house for the lunch prasadam. And yesterday we discussed that 4 of the things that we take a prasadam, invite for prasadam, serve prasadam. So Ramanujacharya said it is good opportunity. So we serve this Kanchipurna, and whatever is left over the remnants, I can get opportunity and my life will become successful. So now Ramanujacharya's wife find it very difficult. How is that first of all, he's the lower caste Brahmana, and he has to come, a Brahmana, I don't know who is the caste, but he's a lower birth. I cannot allow to enter my house. Not only that, I have to cook for him. Not only that, I have to cook him. I have to feed him, and he has to take prasadam in my house. I cannot do this, and I have to find some ways that these all things will be defeated. So one day, there are different ways that it will define this story. So one day Ramanujacharya goes to invite him, and Kanchipurna comes to his house, and his wife immediately cooks very wonderfully for Kanchipurna, feed him prasadam, and then Kanchipurna immediately leaves the place. And then what does she do? She actually
All the evidence and give it.
she takes all this outside, wash all plates and everything. She clean the house, and with that clothes she goes on the well and take a bath. And she comes back, and then Ramanujacharya comes, and she said that did Kanchipurna come here? She said yes. Did you feed him? Yes. And where is the remnants? She said, मैंने बाहर फेंक दिया. And he became so ferocious, became so angry because his whole thing. So when there is a high birth, it's very difficult to surrender to the Supreme Personality. Forget about even surrender to the devotee is also very difficult. Another story of Ramanujacharya's wife. Ramanujacharya has many gurus, and one of his gurus was Mahapurna. And Mahapurna, so all the devotees, when Yamunacharya left, there was no great sannyasi to lead this Sri Sampradaya. So the Yamunacharya also left, and then they thought that Mahapurna should go to Kanchipuram and she should teach to Ramanujacharya. And then Mahapurna comes and stays in the house of Ramanujacharya. And then there is another pastimes happen. So Ramanujacharya's wife and Mahapurna's wife, they go to well, and they were actually drawing the water from the well. And because during at one particular time, Ramanujacharya's wife and Mahapurna's wife, they were actually together, and both vessels got touched each other. And Ramanujacharya's wife became ferocious. How dare you do this? You are lower caste and you are spoiled by all things. She threw the water, she took the bath, came back and scolded Mahapurna's wife. And who is the Mahapurna? For Ramanujacharya, Mahapurna was a great personality. He's a guru for him. And Ramanujacharya's wife scolded Mahapurna's wife. And Mahapurna's wife went home and she narrated the whole story to Mahapurna, and Mahapurna felt very bad. He said that if we stay here, Ramanujacharya will feel very bad. And immediately they left Kanchipuram and they went to Srirangam. So this is another story where Janma can actually do the same thing. And we also know from the 9th canto, Annie and Sharmishta. Right? Devayani is the daughter of Shukracharya, the topmost, and in that Shukracharya there was a king and his daughter was Sharmishta, right? And one day they were actually went for some taking bath, and then Shivji comes, and in the haste Sharmishta take the clothes of Devayani. And Devayani got raised like this. How dare are you to take my clothes? Don't you understand? I am from this, and you are like. She tells a beautiful shloka. The shloka says that just like a dog, when something is about to offer to the sacrifice, and the dog comes and he takes away that, you are like a dog taking my clothes. And the Sharmishta also got very rich. She scolded Devayani, and she said that, Devayani, you are actually maintained by us, and you are waiting outside of my door like a crow. Get away from here. And finally Sharmishta threw Devayani into the well, and we know the rest things what happens, Yayati and all the stuff. So I just looked at the watch, and it is already 10 o'clock, and we are only in Janma, and the next is Aishwarya. And what is that story of Aishwarya? Out of these 4, which you think is more challenging?
Opulence.
Opulence. Mataji also says opulence. Ravi Prabhu says opulence.
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Mataji's Prabhu says beauty. Who do you think is the most, or which of these four things more challenging? Opulence. Okay. So the story of Nal Kuvera and Manigra Varam Prabhu already answered that. So that you know that what happened, they were so puffed up with their opulence, and they were actually taking a bath on the heavenly planet, on even the Ganges, mother very sacred Ganges, and at that time comes Naradji, and all the ladies they immediately covered, but these two boys of the Kuvera, Nal Kuvera and Manigra, they did not. And that time Naradji actually says that the most worstful opulence, I mean the most worstful thing one can have is the opulence. Aishwarya even more dangerous than all other three things, because once we have the opulence you get so pride, and he says, Naradji says that once we have opulence, one wastes his life engaging into wine, dash dash dash, and gambling. So he says that if you have a lot of opulence, you waste all your life into these things, most dangerous thing. And because you have opulence, the saintly person does not give association to those who are puffed up. And because you have opulence, you miss the opportunity to have the association of the devotee, and you do not have association, then definitely you cannot surrender unless you have the association of the saintly personality. So all those things, this Aishwarya is the most challenging among all these four things. And we know the shloka from Bhagavad Gita 2.44, Bhakti Shastris 2.44. भोगेश्वर प्रसक्तान तया अपहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि समोधो न विधीयते. If we have bhoga and Aishwarya, if we have that vyavasayatmika buddhi na vidhiyate, you cannot have that vyavasayatmika buddhi. And what is that vyavasayatmika buddhi? Vyavasayatmika buddhi eke uru nandana bahu shaka he anantasya buddhayo vyavasayinam. That if you are not single pointed, you have bahu shaka he anantasya. So Aishwarya prasaktanam taya apahruta chetasam vyavasayatmika Bhoga and Aishwarya, we cannot develop desire to surrender to the devotee, desire to surrender to the Lord, desire to do anything in the service of Lord Sri Krishna. And we also know the story of King Shatrajit, not Satyajit but Shatrajit. And Shatrajit is who? What is the story of Shatrajit? Yes, one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra to Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Shatrajit had that money, and what was the name of that money? Samantaka jewel. And he got by the mercy of Suryadev, and that money he was wearing, he was appearing like Suryadev. And wherever he was going, oh Suryadev aa gaya, all the people, like this comes with the Bhagavatam 10th canto. Very good, wonderful. Who said Advait Gaur Prabhu? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. It comes into the later part of 10th canto in the Dwarka Leela, where Shatrajit had all this stuff. And Lord Krishna said, Are Baba, semantic jewel give to his Ugrasen, who is the king, because it is better to have that. You know what was this semantic jewel will do every day? Produce gold. How much gold?
81 or something.
I mean, I was seeing that translation, it is said in Bhara, 10 Bhara. Prabhupada says around 170 pound of gold every day. Oh my God, Krishna, gold and gold and gold. So you can have a lot of jewels, ornaments, necklace, rings, and so many things every day. 170 pound. Prabhu, can you imagine every day 170 pound of gold every day? Somebody is giving that, so much of gold, and he became so proud of that. Krishna said, "Please give to Ugrasen." He said, "Nothing going. I will not give that. This is Aishwarya." He even not agreed to give to Lord Krishna. Forget about surrendering. If somebody comes and says to here the talented and rich Aishwarya, Bangalore people, and Krishna appears in front of us. Can you give your Mercedes Benz? They will give keys to Krishna, hopefully, right? Satyajit Prabhu is laughing. Good on, Krishna doesn't need anything, but he's just tasting. He may taste us. He can come in any form and taste us. Can you give the keys of your house? No, it is for me, not for you. And then gone. When the opportunity comes, you are lost the opportunity. You have to be very careful. If somebody asks, please be ready with the keys and everything.
Better not to have.
That's ultimate. But if you get by your Purva Karma, you cannot avoid that, right? If you become the son of Ambani's, you cannot say, I cannot have that. Your by default will have that, right? So, Nalkuvir and Manigru are completely lost. And there is another story just before coming to the fifth canto. What comes? Before fifth canto? Fourth canto. Fourth canto, there is one person who was very proud because of his opulence. He offended Lord Shivji. Daksha. Who said that? One round of Hare Krishna for Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Knowledge, we'll come to quickly knowledge. When you are full of knowledge, you cannot surrender to Lord. Chaitanya Charitamrita, a beautiful story comes. Sarvam Bhattacharya is also a good example. Kishore Kashmir is very good example of that. So we'll not go in detail. In Bhagavatam, again 10th canto, they are very proud. Krishna goes and give me something. He said, get lost, we are doing something else. Yes, one round again to Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. So the Brahmanas were actually doing yajna, and the yajnapati coming there, please give us something. They said, no, first our yajna is more important. And where did these boys go? Brahman Patni. And the Brahman Patni said, what do you want? Oh, we come. And they did not care of any social etiquette and all things. They came running and give prasadam. So very nice. And Srila Prabhupada, once one so-called scholar in Srila Prabhupada was in the United States of America, and he came there, and Srila Prabhupada asked a very simple question to this scholar: who is the Lord Sri Krishna? He couldn't answer. Oh, I have to go back and study. And Prabhupada asked, a small boy was there, and Prabhupada had a laddu in his hand. And then he asked again, Balramji was there. And Balramji ko pucha Prabhupada, whoever is that? So who is the Krishna? Who is Krishna? And that boy said, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada gave one laddu to him. He was very happy. And then he said, look at our boy. They know who is Krishna. And you are so-called scholar, you cannot even understand who is Lord Krishna. And then Prabhupada asked again that boy, come again. And then this boy was very happy. Again, I will get the second laddu. He asked, who is Krishna? He said, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He said, look at our boy. Prabhupada gave another laddu to him. And he was very happy. So this is the case. Another, there's the pastimes of Tapan Mishra. When Lord, now I'm reading these pastimes in Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapter number 14, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to the East Bengal. And what is East Bengal? Our dear devotees here today? Bangladesh. Tears coming from our eyes. So Tapan Mishra was actually there, and this Tapan Mishra was a very elevated personality in the scripture, and he comes and he surrendered to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he says that, can you please tell me what is the purpose of life? I cannot understand. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bahu Shastra Bahu Vakya Chitte Brahma Hayam Sadhya Sadhana Sreshta Na Haya Nichayam. Bahu Shastra Bahu Vakya Chitte Brahma Haya. Brahma and means illusion. Bahu Shastra Bahu Vakya. If you are very expert in Bahu Shastra and you are expert in that, Brahma Hai Sadhya Sadhana Sreshta Na Haya Nichaya. मतलब हाँ जी बोलिए right, you are right path.
We cannot understand who is the Sadhu.
Wonderful. One round of Hare Krishna to Satyajit. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. I cannot decide what is the sadhya and what is the sadhana when we are actually Bahu Shastra, Bahu Vakya Chittete Brahma hai. In English, too much of analysis lead to paralysis. So similarly, in the same similar way. So Bahu Shastra, Bahu Vakya Chittete Brahma hai. Sadhana Shastra Sreshta Na Haya Nichaya. So Kishore Kashmiri, Tapan Mishra, and then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies beautifully what is the goal of this human form of life and what is the most auspicious ways in this Kali Yuga. And then he says, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kale Nasteva, Nasteva, Naste, Gatir Anyatha. And then last but not least is the beauty. Any example strikes in our things? Beauty. When the beauty is there, we cannot surrender. Or somebody get distracted by the beauty. Sorry? Ravan, he was Vishwamitra, yes. He got distracted. There is Dhruva Maharaj's mother. Yes, Suniti and Suruchi. And Uttanapad was attracted to the Suruchi, not to the Suniti. Suniti means he was wonderful. And then he completely lost because of that. And when little Dhruva actually sat on his lap, and then Suruchi comes there, and she scolded, how dare you to sit on the lap of my husband? If you have to start there, first you have to take birth through my that, and then you have to go to this on that. And Uttanapad was helpless. He couldn't help because he was completely enamored by the beauty of Suruchi. And then there is one wonderful example again from Ramanujacharya, and there is one disciple of Ramanujacharya. Yeah, what is the name of that? Huh? Who had a very beautiful wife, and when he was actually going through, he was holding his umbrella, and his name is starts with the. Yes, one round to these two devotees. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Dhanurdhar was so enamored by the beauty that he was actually holding the umbrella for his wife, and the procession was going, and Ramanujacharya was completely surprised and to see that. He said that, what is so? He said that her eyes, I cannot take my vision away from that. And Ramanujacharya said that, if I show you much more beautiful eyes than that, what will I say? I leave her. And then he took him to the Ranganath Swami, and when he saw the beauty of Ranganath, he was overwhelmed, completely mesmerized by the lotus eyes of the Lord, and he forgot everything and became a disciple of Ramanujacharya. And that is the story of Dhanurdhar. So all those things, and Narad Muni actually talks about the worst is that Aishwarya, Janma, Aishwarya, Sruta, Sri. And here, so already late, so we'll conclude these things. So there is elusive idea. You talked about, we'll discuss later, I said, Daridra Narayan. Now what is Daridra Narayan?
To feed the poor who are hungry.
So these people comes with some idea that they think that Lord is actually in these people and they are Daridra, so they call this as Daridra Narayan. And how can be Narayan be Daridra? This is like because these two things cannot go together, right? It is opposite that. How can be Narayan be Daridra? But this is the elusive idea. Prabhupada says that. And what do they say? Oh Narayanji, whatever they call, you cannot feed these people. It is me, because they are starving, and it is me who is actually feeding this Daridra Narayan. So Prabhupada says this is the false narrative, false idea that one can have that Daridra Narayan. So Prabhupada says that, and what do they say? Manav Seva is Madhav Seva. Manav Seva is greater than the Madhav Seva. And there is another terms which one person came to our Bhakti Ruksha very first time, long ago, once upon time. So he said that the lips which actually the lips which actually praise are the hands, the helping hands are better than the praying lips. So this was another thoughtful ideas that they come up with that. So what does it mean? Yeah, this philanthropic ideas and all things. Absolutely, there is no problem you do philanthropic activities, but the fundamental thing that one must help is that to bring them closer to Krishna. When you bring closer to Krishna, automatically all other things are taken care. It's like we do not say, but that like don't give fish, don't give him fish, but teach him fish, something like. But don't take in the direct meaning. So outside of that, somebody goes and says that, okay, Prabhu was saying that. No. But the idea is that teach him how to do that rather than giving things. So similarly, bring him to Lord Sri Krishna, bring him surrender to the devotees like Srila Prabhupada teaching, then automatically everything falls in a place. So now question becomes, what if we have all the Janma, Aishwarya, Srutasi? Is it wrong to have for devotees? No. But one should engage in the service of Krishna. And the example again from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, who Lord Krishna voluntarily gave him riches and riches and riches. Sudama. So Sudama coming from the poor bandar to the our dear Lord Ram to Dwarka, and Lord gave him opulent. Again another example from 4th canto, Lord gave him opulent after opulent. Dhruva Maharaj. But the devotee said, oh my Lord, I'm so foolish that I was looking for the broken glasses of the things. When you give me the jewel, I do not need anything else. So when devotees get all these things, they do not get bewildered, but rather they engage everything in the service of Krishna. So finally, to conclude that, how to overcome this pride? How to overcome this pride? Janma, Aishwarya, Srutasri. Engage in the service of, but to engage in the service, we should have something. Then otherwise, we should engage in the service of my association of devotees. Surrender to whom? Money. Surrender to Lord and His devotees. So again, Chaitanya Bhagavat is a commentary given by His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Swami Srila Prabhupada. So he gives at the end of 14th chapter, which is Lord Vijayasri East Bengal, on the strength of worship of the Supreme Personality, can living entities become freed from the mundane false ego? Statement as it is. Only on the strength of worshipping the Supreme Lord can the living entities become freed from the mundane false ego. So what does it mean? Okay. On the strength of worshipping the Supreme Lord can the living entities become free from the mundane false ego. Engaging in the service of Krishna, worshipping Krishna. So unless and until one starts engaging in the service of Krishna, one cannot become free from the false pride. And if you cannot become false pride, fortunately or unfortunately, if you get all these four things because of your purva karma, one will be doomed. Especially if you get opulence. So many contemporary examples. Those who are born in the rich family, they are completely directionless in their things. And that's what Naraji says, that the worst thing that one can have is the opulence. And so in this mood that one should serve actually to Lord Sri Krishna, and that is the root cause of everything. So one somehow or the other, when one engages in the service of Lord Sri Krishna and Krishna's devotees, one can actually get free from all these things. And the best thing is this in this age of Kali is chanting the name of Lord Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. When His Grace Gurujan Prabhu was there, he said that if devotees had to progress in their things, he said two things. One is that one devotee should come together and read Srimad Bhagavatam, and devotees should come and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And our Mataji is very nicely, she is doing the service that at least Sunday, please come together and chant the name of. So she has been doing from last many weeks that almost months. How many months, Mataji? 2 months or 3 months, let's say 8 to 12 weeks. Many devotees are coming morning 8:30 every Sunday, just for half an hour, come and together, because all 6 days you are chanting to at your house individually, but at least Sunday come together before Bhagavatam class at 8:30 and spend some time together. We chant the name of our dear Lord Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. I apologize for 15 minutes delay. Any comments, question, correction? Anjiko.
Though you made it clear at that, I just wanted to hear a little bit more on this. So you mentioned that these four opulences, which could be Maharaj mentioned, can become
obstacles
because they generate pride in the humanity. It's quite interesting to see that in the history, in Vedic history, there have been kings who had all access to all these four opulences in them. And still they were so much devoted to the Supreme Personality of God. So So can you share your realizations on how they could do that and get it without any impact on pride and things like that?
First of all, it's a very thoughtful question. First of all, that these all kings, they were very well trained from the childhood. They were trained from the childhood itself. What is the purpose of life? Second thing is that even though they have all those things, they were always guided by Brahmanas, right? Raja Rishis, right? Evam parampara praptam, imam Raja Rishis. So they were not only the king, but they were saintly kings. And since they were saintly kings, their character was saintly, their behavior was saintly, their purpose was saintly, everything was actually saintly, because even if there is a chance that you may get deviated somewhere, but there is always someone to guide you. Many examples, when Dasharath Maharaj gave promise to Vishwamitra, and what was the promise that he has given to Vishwamitra? Whatever you want, I will give. Even before asking what he want, and now he got into the trap. Now he said that I want Lord Ram. Oh my God, he's a 16-year-old. How can I give my Ram? Please ask anything else. But you have given. He comes into this dynasty, Surya Vansha, that nobody in the past has spoken like. Then Vasishtha Rishi comes into picture and says that don't worry, Ram will be actually protected. And so there is always guidance from there, and that is where, even if we are practicing devotees, of course we may not have the opulences like that, but whatever that, we always need a guidance, and guidance can also come through the association. What Rishabh Prabhu said, that association is very important aspect of that. So association, chanting the name of Lord Hari, and most important is engaging in the physical service. Devotees, some of you might be thinking that what is so great about service, but let me tell you that without service, our senses cannot be purified. Even if it might be great sitting here and talking, one might be very expert in doing all those things, one might be very expert doing something, but if we cannot engage physically in the service of Lord Sri Krishna, the purification of all our senses will not happen. So, chanting the name of Hari, Bhagavat Sravanam, then devotee association, and physically service. It's a very, very important aspect. Sometimes now, as we grow up, and we become senior, we become Bhakti Riksha leaders, and whatever it may be, that we think that the service is for somebody else, not for me. There's a pastime from Srila Prabhupada's things. There was a devotee who said that the new person came, and he said, and he was engaged by the senior devotee in the temple, that if you wash the vessel and you make that vessel like the striking clean, your heart also become striking clean. And the senior devotee was scratching it, but why you are not engaging in it? Right? So we become so-called senior and all things, and we forget that, because unless and until we engage into physical things, lifting the things, of course if you are back then you might be waved off, but whatever is physically, cleaning the temple, serving the devotees, serving Lord Sri Krishna, serving Srila Prabhupada's mission, one cannot progress. One may be theoretically practical, but unless we engage into service of Srila Prabhupada, one cannot. So we will end if there is no other question here. Hare Krishna. Yes, sir. Yeah. Right. Amrish Prabhu, that he had that opulence where he engaged everything in the service of Srila Prabhupada's mission. There are so many examples are there. And why he did that?
Because he came in association of
He came in the association of Srila Prabhupada. He understood that the real purpose, and not only that, there are great devotees, are many devotees. His one name Jayapadak Swami Maharaj, he was the son of millionaire, and
Fordson, founder of Fordson.
And that is what he said. That's what he said. So many great devotees, they said that. And Giriraj, his one name Giriraj Swami Maharaj, his father came and I'm ready to give millions, but leave this go. So there are many examples where great they got association of our dear founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. And with the moment of association of such a great devotees, our life actually can transform into greater direction. Bigger success of our life is awaiting for all of us. Okay. we'll end here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So what are the 4 things?
But this was opulence.
No, Sanskrit.
Sri and